pay it back to me. Payback is a cause I didn't deserve it. It's a dog. It's a dog. Leave me alone. Can't take no more of a weekend from sleep. No more you selling dreams. No. Cause I fell in love with me. You kind of loving I don't need. I've got control of me. Your bags is at the door. I'm through with you. Can't believe the things you put me through. I gave you all my love and then that's what you do. Everything you did about to come back. You gon' get this karma. Nothing karma. You end up losing everything you love. You gon' get this karma. You about to get it. Every single dude from every single dude. Cause you lose in the end. Karma always keeping back. Cause everything you did is coming back. Payback's a dog. You got to pay it back to me. Oh yeah. Cause I didn't deserve it. Hey. Oh, payback is a dog. It's a dog. Yeah. For your lies you think I believe them. I crack the code to get in your DM. There's some messages that you seen them. You've been driving my best to meet him. But it's the big payback. Karma gon' get you, so take that. Never come back again. Payback's a dog. It's a dog. Look what you did to me. Hey. You know I didn't deserve it. Nah. It's a dog. It's a dog, yeah. But what's crazy is I remember when you used to hide your phone. Payback is a dog. Always coming with some sad excuse. Payback is a dog. Do you remember that? Cause I'll never forget it. No. And it's the big payback. And you about to get it. Dress, looking fabulous, got my necktie, matching cufflinks, we so classy, tell me what you're drinking on, I'll pay this time, relax, unwind, it's about that time, see if your heart is like mine, did it hurt you so bad, your love's unkind, I wanna see what you're feeling. Don't disguise your feelings. In the name of love, girl, you deserve a man that'll fight for ya, make everything alright for ya. You deserve a man. Boy, you gave a chance, he wasn't a man. He don't understand that. You deserve a man. You deserve a man that'll fight for ya, make everything alright. You deserve a man. to my love. I rent a tab this time. Relax, unwind. It's about that time. See if your heart is like mine. Did it hurt you so bad you love mine? I wanna see what you're feeling. Yeah. Don't disguise your feelings. You deserve a man that'll fight for you. Make everything alright for you. You deserve a man. He don't understand, baby. Yeah. You deserve no, we don't. No, we don't. You deserve a man. Yeah. He don't understand. He don't understand. He don't understand. You need a man.
What is this?
Hey baby girl, if you're thinking it's that same dude, this ain't that same dude that tried to talk to you. I'm older now and my conversation's alright. What you wanna talk about? Good seeing you tonight. I compliment you on your hair, your outfit, and your smile. I know you're tripping cause you haven't seen me in a while. But I'm older now, and I know more now. Don't you go nowhere, cause I'm ready, girl. I know I played some bogus games with you, girl. I wasn't ready, I wasn't a man for you, girl. I'm older now, I changed my ways on you, girl. I'm ready, girl. Baby, I'm grown now. I ain't another boy playing childish games. I wait up to a young man tried to find you, baby. I can be all up in your mix, making you feel straight. Cause I'm a grown man, grown man, baby. Started out a boy playing childish games. I wait up to a young man tried to find you, baby. I can be all up in your mix, making you feel straight. Cause I'm a grown man, doing grown man things.
What's up, y'all? What's up? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the In the Zone podcast. It's your man, B. Foster. Brian Foster's in the building. Hey, y'all missed me last week? I know you did. Shut up. You ain't even got to say it. It was the wife's birthday. Happy birthday again, baby. Happy 21st again, baby. We had a good time. Hey, so today is a special episode. Y'all, I had this man on. As a matter of fact, I've had both of these men on once before. Different episodes, but we are going to talk about life post-COVID. I know we're not out of COVID. I know it's still going on, so don't at me about that shit. But y'all out in these streets like it wasn't ever no COVID, so we about to holler about it and see what's up. First and foremost, let me introduce the lone female of the panel. My favorite panelist. Yep, I said it. Anybody's ever been on the show, I don't care about your feelings. This is my girl, Carson Charisma. What's happening, lady?
What's up, guys? I can't see you. I don't know if I'm supposed to be.
Hold on, Carson. We got you.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. We wasn't on screen.
Yes. But I'm well. You're my favorite
Carson,
as well.
I can't hear you, baby.
Oh. What about now?
There we go. Now we got you. All right.
Okay, good. No, I was saying I'm well. You're my favorite as well, and it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hold on. If you were saying a whole lot about how I was your favorite, you can always say it again. Don't act like you got to cut it short this time.
So silly.
And then I got on my left-hand side, my guy, my dude. This is my man, 50 grand. Made this man the man he is today. Not me, but the frat. This is my bro. What's going on, Brooke?
Man, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm happy to have you back, brother. I'm happy to have you back. Were you and Carson on the same show last time? I can't remember. No,
we were.
Wait,
maybe.
Wait, Carson, were you all on the same show last time?
I remember him because he said that women shouldn't tell men that they're alpha females.
Oh, that's right.
Are you doing it now?
That's right. That's right. It was you two and Amber. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nice.
And then I don't know if y'all recognize this dude. He was on the show about what did we do the show on? Oh, about Last Dance. It's been over a year. My firstborn, my oldest seed, Devin Jonathan Foster. What's happening, brother?
Nothing much. How are you?
I'm good. He thinks he's gonna be a international podcaster like his father. So I said, well, come on up in the studio and let's see what you got.
No, the difference is I will be international.
Woo! You don't think I'm international?
Not yet.
I got one motherfucker in Japan watching me. Fuck what you doing. I'm international homeboy. Anyway, hey y'all, so check it out. Everything is going back past phases and back to normal. I walked into a jewelry store today and automatically threw on my mask just out of habit. And then I realized I was the only motherfucker in the jewelry store with a mask on. Like nobody's doing that no more. I walked in Macy's and like 3 people had on masks. Like it's not a thing anymore. So, or it's starting to not be a thing. So I'm interested in, we're coming out of it. Everybody's getting vaccinated. If you're in the if you're an anti-vaxxer, more power to you. God bless you. Pray for you. But everybody's getting their vaccinations. Everybody's coming out of it. The world is open. Pier 31 here in Chicago look like Freaknik every day. Mm-hmm. So my question is anything going to change? Is anything going to be different? Has life shifted in any way, shape, or form for everybody post a fucking global pandemic? So I remember when me and my guys, when this all first started going down, we were like, well, they go handshakes. I didn't like shaking motherfuckers' hands, no way. Mm-hmm. Nope, that's back. Dap and hugs and all that stuff we said we wouldn't do it no more. We went right back into it. So did anything change? But we're going to get into that. Hold on. Let me get my notes up. You know, I like to be precise with it. Let me ask you all, how did the pandemic affect you directly? Work, home, personal habits, any of that? Has it affected? How did it affect you? Period. Not is it affecting you now, but how did it affect you? Carson, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, well, of course, it's crazy because I started a new job January of 2020, and so by March, I only really had to be in an office before going home and then working at home for a year and a half. So that work definitely was a little bit different. Zoom calls, being in front of a computer all day, not being able to really do my job how I normally would have done it. As far as, I take more care in terms of, like, I've always been a clean person as far as washing my hands, and I don't ever really shake hands. So that really hasn't changed, but now I might wash a little bit longer, or I keep my distance, even with a mask or with not. I think just nothing has changed drastically for me. I've now started a new job, and I'm working.
You know what? I saw your post. Congratulations. You balling. Loan me $5.
Yeah, listen, I'm trying to get like you. What you talking about?
That's a downgrade.
Yeah. But yeah, no. And so I started a new job. And I think one thing that I took away from the pandemic is I really enjoyed working at home, and being in my own space, being able to be flexible, and whether it be grabbing groceries during the day, taking a walk, what have you, being in my pajamas all day to work. Like I like that. And so I think that's what pretty much it's taught me. But as far as change anything, not too much. Yeah, everything's pretty much the same. Just, making sure I still keep my distance and just extra clean with washing my hands and taking those extra measures. But other than that, things are pretty much the same for me.
And I didn't preface this before. We have a very wide berth of age demographics here. So we've got a 20-year-old, Carson's in her late 20s, Brooke is late 30s.
40.
Are you 40 yet?
Yeah.
Oh, look at you. You look 22, boy. And then we ain't gonna talk about how old I am. That's unimportant to this conversation. No, I'm almost. Oh, that's what you're doing. Knocking on 50. So I wanted to make sure we had a wide berth of ages here, range, so we can get because what I might feel might not be what the 20-year-old might feel. So speaking of the 20-year-old, COVID, how did it has some widespread effects on you, my man. I already know. Talk about it.
Man, COVID sucked. When COVID hit, I was in my second semester of freshman year. And when it hit for real, I had got sent home. And I pretty much missed the rest. I missed the rest of that semester. So I was home for that. And I did get the opportunity to go back to school for the fall semester. But I was in my room pretty much the entire time. So I actually put on COVID weight. I came home. Mom was talking about I was chubby.
She wasn't lying.
And you. Yeah, no, she wasn't. But, it really just, COVID's supposed to be, well, I'm sorry, not COVID. College is supposed to be the time of your life. And I got pretty much a year of that cut out. And that like really blew me. It's like, I was supposed to be out here enjoying myself, getting away from my parents. And now I'm back home, stuck with them all summer, can't go outside. Because if I do, I got to wear a mask. Mom all worried about COVID and whatnot. You all worried about COVID and whatnot, trying not to bring it home. So, yeah, that was something that really affected me. And now that we're, getting out of that, I've been outside a lot more. Already having been before COVID, somebody who typically was inside, it really gave me the opportunity to appreciate going outside, hanging out with friends, and seeing new things in the world. So that's something that I really do now, and I've been outside a lot recently.
Very true. Let me state this for the record. We didn't want your ass at home. So we was all suffering home, boy. But yes, I will say I have seen that change in you where you kind of was like, outside, maybe. Let's play this video game. Get online. Don't even come over. Just get on. Now you are definitely a little bit more out and about and taking advantage of it. So that's what's up. Brooke?
Yeah, for me, I recruit for the military, so my whole career is based off of, working with the people. And that was taken away from me, So on a daily basis outside of COVID, I would be in a high school, in a college, or somewhere where there's a large amount of people talking about the military. And what the thing is that I was pretty ahead of my goals before it really hit. So I didn't really take a hit when it happened. Did my production go down? Yes, drastically. But I was so far ahead, it kind of like just balanced itself out. So it was, I pretty much run my own schedule. So that being at home a little bit more than usual didn't really bother me because I only come out when I really need to. So for work, I would say it affected me, about 50% of what I normally do. Just personally, well, what really suffered, in my opinion, is me and my son. My son lives with me, and we normally, summertime, we out. We doing all kinds of stuff, playing basketball, hanging out. I mean, he's 13 now, about to be 14, so you know how that time is. It's like that's when you get to do all the cool stuff. He can go places. He actually can, hang out with you. So we normally get to do those things, and we didn't. Now, we still spend time together, but it was just different. I got to know him a lot more. We talked a lot more. We made the best of what we could. But if anything suffered, it was the time that I spent with, because I had a lot of things planned that I wanted us to do. Traveling, I'm a big traveler. Obviously, that wasn't happening. So that really affected me too, just not being able to travel. But now, everything is back. I'm a lot more cautious than I was before. I was always cautious about, my surroundings just because I have someone back at home. But now it's just a little bit more of a step. Make sure you do those daily things that we all should do, but now we just make it more focused. Small stuff, washing your hands, making sure, my son does it. That's who I really got to worry about, because the funny thing is me and my mom always used to tease him all the time. Like, he always fights me about everything. So I'm like, son, quit chewing on your shirt. Quit doing all this little nasty stuff, And we was like, look, you're going to get something and you're going to spread it. And then, somebody else going to get it and somebody else going to. That's what we always told him since he's been born. And then it happened.
It happens, right?
We was like, see, we told you because you look
You started COVID, little
right.
nasty.
Right. So I thought that was a good learning lesson for him. He actually saw it on a global level, which I didn't want to go that damn far, but but it was kind of weird how that all happened because me and my mom always, and his mom always tell him about, you're in the age where kids are nasty, so be clean. And now I think he takes that a lot more serious now too.
Yeah, it's crazy. There, as there is with most things in life, there was positives and there was negatives, right? So COVID hits, And I never forget this. Me and my wife were on the kitchen, and she's like, "So, do you think this is gonna affect your job?" I was like, "Nah." I said, "We'll make it to at least the summer before they start saying, all right, we might need to restructure." Shit. Like 2 weeks later, they were like, "Yeah, so we appreciate you, but so yeah, like 1/4 of my department got cut. I was remote. My company I used to work for was based in Boston." So all of us in the communications marketing department that were remote outside of the New York office got fired, got laid off. Wow. And then I was like, all right, well, that sucks because I really like that job, but oh well. And then, as anybody knows me knows, I've got multiple investments in student housing, restaurants, bars. Restaurant bars dead. Luckily, I thought the student housing project was gonna fall on top of itself because I figured students getting kicked out, gonna go home. I don't know when they coming back, so that was panicky for a little while. I still throw parties and promote events. That's dead. So like all my little revenue streams were immediately, and then I realized I got too much revenue tied up in people. I need to figure out another way to make some money. But everything was gone. It was dead, dried up, and I was like, wow, okay, how do I pivot? So then we started doing the virtual stuff. And that turned out to be, and then I'd already started the podcast maybe 2 months before that. But then me and Keisha was like, all right, this is the perfect time to do the Blackboard. So I had my podcast and I had the Blackboard, and we like kind of amped that up. And I kind of really started to invest in myself and things I cared about that I had put on the back burner making all these other moves because those other moves were on hold. So, that worked, that was great. And then got the gig where I'm at now, where I'm making more money, even happier than I was in my other gig, and doing work I think is a little bit more impactful. So that's fantastic. Bars and restaurants opening again. I got a whole new base of folks that not only that I party with and kick it with, and that are somewhat a revenue stream. I hate to even term them like that, but have really become family between my Blackboard folks and the virtual day parties folks. It's really like become like my fam.
Right.
So this dude. So it, taking lemons and making them into lemonade for that cliche. And then so I thought that coming out of this, things would be like drastically different for me. And then spending a lot of different type of time with the fam, right? Like you say, Brooke, we together, but we're running, and everybody's got this, and baby's got taekwondo, and the other one's got soccer, and he's gone to school, and his other brother is Lord knows what he's doing because he does his own thing all the time. It forced us all to kind of be together and sit down and sit still, and relearn each other, to be frank, and reconnect. So, but same as you all said, taking a little bit more of my, got back in it because I'd fallen off the gym, so got back in the gym. Got to eating a little bit better. I know a lot of people fell off that during COVID. I actually did a lot better. Drank less. I know a lot of people was like medicated themselves, but I'm a social drinker, and sitting up in the crib just drinking just wasn't my thing. So
to me,
yeah. So that all of that, all this money I saved. Damn, I saved a lot of money during COVID. So there was some positives and there was some negatives. But coming out of it now, the biggest thing that's changed for me outside of physically being more aware of my health, my mental health, my pocketbook, is being more aware of and being in tune with the fam and not letting that slide again, being so caught up in other stuff. So that's the positive I'm taking from it. Let's shift gears a little bit. How will dating be different for you all now? Now I know, Carson, you still with your LA boo?
Yeah, I'm still with my LA boo.
All right. Look at you found love during COVID. You ain't even mentioned that.
I don't know if it's love. I don't know about that. But
shit. Okay. It's still hope, fellas. It's still hope. But how will dating pivot post-COVID? Like, is it going to be any different for you all? I'm the only married one here, so it ain't shit changing for me. But Devin, you the youngest one here. Is coming out of COVID, is dating going to be any different for you than it was before?
I don't think so. My generation, we do a lot of texting anyway, so that just amplified it. But we're still gonna go out to the movies. It's just a matter of wearing a mask now. Nothing much changes, especially for college students. When you're both on campus, you go, let's go, you say you go have a study date. You're over at each other's houses or whatnot. You know, you're not doing a whole lot. I wouldn't know nothing about that. I mind my business. But you know,
Don't sound like you mind your business.
The friends that I do have that I've seen, that's how they do it. So you know, I don't think a lot changes for us personally. And then you know, some of us don't have cars or whatnot, so it might change when we get a little older. But usually, you know, it's a lot of texting and FaceTime and whatnot.
So let me now, not to put you on blast, but you know, we went to college. We know how it can be. It could be a little loosey goosey with the sexuality. And by that I mean you kind of hitting, sticking, and moving. So, do you think that folks will look at that differently now? Are they going to be as quick to jump in the sack as they would have previously? Look, Carson, how you laughing?
I'm waiting for his answer. That's what I'm waiting for.
I'm gonna say no for the next couple of years. You know.
So you think your generation is gonna be a little more cautious about that?
I think they'll slow down just a little bit.
Oh,
but
wow.
you know,
you got faith in them.
I'm right. I have zero.
Right.
I think they're gonna be worse because they got pent up for a year and a half.
no, I think you know, none of us want to have any, you know, stuff going on with our bodies that we don't want. So a lot of us, I think, have learned to be more cautious of the things that we get into due to COVID. So I think, you know, people are gonna be excited, but they'll be a little more like, they'll think about it more before they just, you know, hey, let's go to the room. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Are you saying this because this is your father, or because you really believe this?
Right. Here's what
I actually believe it.
Okay.
I believe he'll do it.
Yeah.
I didn't ask about him personally. I said,
I don't know, B. I think you raised a great young man, but overall, they're going to be sticking and moving even more.
Good job, man.
Good job, B. But yeah, overall, no.
100%.
that's because he go to those smarty art school. If he went to FAM or something, that'd be.
I'm gonna tell you right now, like, so I recruit at, you know, my main focus right now for us to go in and have these virtual meetings, and the small interaction we had is shut down every like 2 to 3 weeks. You wanna know why? They kept catching COVID.
Yeah, spread it like wildfire.
Man, I was like, here we go. Like we all got to get retested because somebody was near somebody near somebody. It was buck wild. I mean, I agree. Maybe they will learn their lessons, and I think maybe the shock of COVID happening, they just wasn't ready to deal with it in this moment. But maybe now that things are open, they'll take a step back. I hope. If not, we'll see all these kids that get made, all these COVID babies. They have weird names. Panda.
Right. I think it's interesting, right? Because I'm just going to be honest, I didn't necessarily take COVID 100% seriously in the beginning, you know, like B said, right? Like, oh, like this isn't going to affect my job. We'll be gone for 2 weeks. We'll be right back in the office. No big deal. And then a year and a half later, we're still at home working. And so that's when, again, I realized like, okay, I want to be at home. And so we're going to come back to the office. I'm like, I'm going to look for a new job because I want to work from home. So that was my thing. But overall, I think when it comes to dating, for me personally, again, traveling, you know, that'll make it a little bit easier. But it also has been a little bit more hectic, I could say, because of COVID. A lot of the airports have lessened the amount of employees that are working. So even on domestic flights, you have to get there 2 to 3 hours ahead of time where, I mean, I live in Charlotte, right? So normally I can get to the airport 45 minutes before, go through TSA very quickly and hop on my plane. Whereas now I'm in line for a much longer period of time. American Airlines is what I flew last time I was there. And you still have to wear a mask regardless of what the mayor says or whatever city is wide open. American Airlines still requires you to wear a mask throughout the airport and throughout your entire travel until you are off the plane and outside of the airport. So it's just, I think it's going to look different for different people. You know, to your son's point, I missed your name. Devin. So to Devin's point, right? I think, you know, my generation as well is big on texting, big on FaceTime, big on, you know, the dating apps. So I don't think that'll change. If anything, it'll get more, you know, be more of a prominent way to meet people and engage in the dating world. But I don't think people are going to slow down with the sticking and moving. I think to your point, B, right? They've been trapped in the house for a year and a half. They are horny and anxious, and first thing that is cute to them, they're gonna, hey, let's go back, let's do what we need to do. I just don't think people are gonna slow down in that aspect. At least not in my generation. They're little horn dogs. So.
Like I said, Tinder. What app is hot right now? I don't even know. I might be saying the wrong shit. What's the hottest dating app right now?
I don't know. There's Tinder. There's like, what do you call it? Hinge. There's Bumble. Plenty of Fish. Like, regardless, all of them are trash. Like, all the dating apps are trash.
But they all lit up like Christmas right now. I bet.
Right.
I bet they are. I bet they're lit up.
What you think, B?
I tell you one thing that going to change. Brothers need to learn how to make reservations because every restaurant be packed. I mean, you can't just go up no more. At least not here in Chicago. I'm pretty sure you know that. Chicago, if you wasn't used to making reservations where you go before, you're definitely going to have to do it now. I mean, even during the week, even if they're free, most places like, no, we still want to know that you're coming, and we're going to charge you if you're not.
That's right.
So I think that's cool because brothers should be good at that anyway. But that's something that I know that's definitely changed. You just can't walk up and just sporadically go somewhere anymore. You got to have reservations, which should make people a little bit more creative with the dating. I mean, your traditional dating where there's going to be large groups of people, you got to be not cautious. Well, you can be cautious if you want to. That's your prerogative. But knowing that they're probably going to have parameters about how many people can be there and all that stuff, I don't think that's going to change. I think this occupancy thing is going to probably stay around for quite a while. So. But it's about to get the picnics going and the creativity with the dating for sure. But it's not gonna stop nothing. We're just gonna pivot.
Yeah. I think in my demographic, I think it's made folks that are a little bit older appreciate people a little bit more.
Better. Yeah.
And by that I mean it's a lot of 45 plus women out here that's like, well, it didn't happen for me and I'm cool with that and I'll just date and blah blah. And there's a lot of 45 plus dudes out here that's like, I don't never need to get married. This is bull. It ain't nothing in it for me. Yeah, that was all cute until you was in the house by yourself for a year, or maybe you could only have one person over that you trusted could come over and shit. My boy, I ain't gonna say no names. He had a little young lady come. He was like, I trust her. She can come hang out for a couple of days. But he got to live in now. She ain't never leave. But
Oh God.
so, I mean, that's a whole other story. But
doing something right.
Yeah. I mean, he love her, and it is what it is now. But he didn't intend for her to move in. But that's kind of what happened. So I think that they will start appreciating people's presence, and not take that for granted anymore, and not switch people out like these interchangeable parts. I think they're gonna appreciate. When they actually appreciate somebody. Yeah. As opposed to saying, yeah, they cool and all, but I don't know. I think I might want to rethink this one because
want to have somebody look next to when if this ever happened again.
Hey, it's just like.
But what about marriage though? Did marriage change? Like I read an article in COVID, like mid-COVID. It was like marriages are like falling apart because people haven't spent this much time in one space, and like arguments are increasing. Obviously financials are tough on people, and so there's more arguments. People are divorcing. They realize like, oh my gosh, like we've been together 30 years, but I don't even like you anymore, like because we've been stuck together in a house for a year and a half. So was that like something that you experienced? Not divorce, obviously, but just like fussing more?
Not yet. No, I'm kidding. Love you, baby. No, you know what? It's funny you say that because I've read the same, and I can believe that, right? Like you're with this person forever, and you kind of have your life and then these separate lives, and they're like, okay, so if you're in a 2-bedroom condo in Wicker Park, right? And there's an office, there's a bedroom, there's a living room and a kitchen or whatever. And, but, going out with your friends, and I'm going to play golf, and then, I'll meet you back at home later for dinner, and then I go on my retreat to the living room, and you retreat to the office, and then we come to bed and we go to sleep. You haven't really interacted like this, right? You're all you're like roommates more than, particularly if you have kids, because now a lot of that focus goes on them, right? Now, it ain't nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. And you in this 2-bedroom situation, and you ain't got no house or no yard, and so you just sitting there kind of looking like,
Y'all watching the same
You,
TV.
yeah, you watch the same TV.
You watch this?
Right. What is this bullshit? What are you reading? What is that track? Who are you? What's your middle name? So right. So and like there's these financial burdens and just this being on top of each other. I can see that being a problem. But and I don't know if this is my people fronting. That could be, but the conversations I've had with my folks, most of my people have that brought the relationships closer.
That's good.
Because those distractions were eliminated, and they realized that I actually do like, there's some shit about you I don't like. Obviously, we all got those, but I actually really really still love you, and I've rediscovered things about you that I'd forgotten or that I've taken for granted or that I don't get to see as often because we're so busy doing this other stuff. And it's really brought at least one couple I know that was probably on the brink right before COVID of divorce, like reunified them, and looking super strong again. So,
Cool.
yeah, I think there's two sides to that coin.
Yeah, it's more conflictual to report the bad stuff. That's what we all gonna read anyway.
Of course, right.
If they say everybody's happy-go-lucky, they'll get no hits.
Yeah. Oh no, the drama brings the likes.
Drama
right?
brings the likes, baby. So they gotta, they find 5 people that got bad experiences and they exploit it. I mean, but I agree with you. I think it's it can go either way, and I think, like you said, you got married for a reason, and I think people started realizing why during COVID.
Agreed. Let me ask this: so working. How and Carson, you already kind of touched on this. How is that going to look different for everyone now? You specifically, and then everybody in general. Brick, I'm gonna start that one with you.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what. I've always considered myself a creative person, and this right here has pulled it all out because, again, I work with the people, and we're still not sure of how Chicago Public Schools and colleges are going to let us back in, right? So, I mean, what I've done, I've started a channel, talk about the military a lot. I do a table talk similar to this. I do a lot of promotional videos to educate people. I do it for my teammates, for those that are not as outgoing, I know that's going to probably struggle, that's new to recruiting. So, I mean, my hobby is photography and videography. So I've kind of leveraged that into my workplace more now. And I've always wanted to do it, but this made me do it. I always talked about like, oh man, I'm gonna get back online and start really pushing it because social media is like, his demographic, his generation is my demographic, so, that's where they're at all day long. When they're not in school, that's where they're at. So now I'm forced to meet them where they're at, where they're most comfortable. And it's cool because the internet helps educate them, so it's definitely been different, but I think it's gonna be better. And I mean, especially from my field of work, a lot of people started seeing what the National Guard does. A lot of people didn't know. A lot of people don't know what we do. But when them bridges came up, when riots was happening, when we started popping up them testing centers and vaccination centers, then they're like, oh, this is what they do. They thought we was part of the whole martial law where we was going to come in and lock doors and close people in and all that stuff. Like, no, that's not what we do. We're here to protect the state, not to, not the opposite. So I think it shed a light, and I think that, to be honest, we will get more. I'll be better off next year. I think more people are going to start becoming more patriotic because this happened at 9/11. 9/11 happened, and we just got a spike in people feeling like, hey, I want to do my part and help protect this country, because it's not about just protecting the country. You got to protect your state, and that's what we do. And I think that we're going to have a similar effect in the next 24 months or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dev, I know you obviously as a student, that's more your focus. So we'll get to that later. But, as a matter of fact, let's just switch that as your real job is your education right now. How is that going to look different for you as the next semester unfolds?
Well, for me, we're going back next year completely in person. Especially, like, really, if you want it, you can go to every class that you want. But it's really up to the professors whether or not you have to have a mask. But there are a few classes that will be online. And in some ways, I think that's better because it makes it more convenient for the student. There are some classes, especially on bigger campuses. My campus isn't that big, but for other campuses, if you have a lecture and that's like 30 minutes away from your dorm, and now it's online, you don't have to, get up and go all the way to your class for you not to have another class for 2 hours. So you go back home to then go back out. Like you are able to stay in one place and have the class that, would be so far away. And then it's easier to manage your time when you have classes online. You're also able to do other things. Like I know don't be mad, but like I would be in class.
I'm mad.
I would be in class and at the gym at the same time first semester. So I'd be listening to my teacher while I'm playing basketball. So like you're able to. I was fine, but like you're able to multitask. And I think that having the opportunity to.
Ooh, I told your mama to watch this show. I hope she didn't tune in to hear that. God, I'm about to get a mad text. I already see it.
The classes that I did that for, I got an A in. So don't be mad at me, Ma. But it makes it easier for the student to really pay attention and also, do other things. And now for those students who missed going in person, it makes them take it more serious than, I'm just going to class because I have to. Now it's like, okay, I missed this. Like I wasn't learning the way I wanted to all the time in certain classes. So now I can actually go in class, ask questions, because you couldn't really ask questions online. Because, most people had their cameras off and it wasn't always, required to have a camera on. But now there's actual interaction between you and the teacher. So I think that that's a good thing for them.
See, I guess that's what there's different learning styles for different students, obviously. And you're right. Like, there were times when I was in school, it was like, man, get out of this bed and go to class. It's cold. I had a late night. That ain't happening.
It's a Monday, 8 a.m.
Yeah. If I could have rolled over and hit my laptop, which, of course, I didn't have when I was in college, but hit my computer or whatever, and been able to, at least even in my hungover state, listen in or whatever the case may be, particularly for large lecture halls where I'm not getting that one-on-one anyway. Cool.
Yeah.
But I know other students are like, they need to be in class. They need to be focused. They can't, they need to be in there taking their notes. Mm-hmm. They have to be engaged that way because learning at home like that doesn't work for them. Right. So I do like the fact that this is opening up different avenues of learning for folks and giving you that avenue. What does scare me, though, is that folks that need to be in class and doing that hands-on interaction are going to revert to these digital things where it's not their best learning style.
Right.
Yeah.
So that comes with maturity, though. You got to realize what's best for you.
Boy, if you would anyway.
Well, I told my son he don't have an excuse now, because I'm like, you just experienced what college is for some people. Mm-hmm. He went through his whole eighth grade online. I would go in there and peek in and see if he was up. He was up, laptop up, doing his thing. I mean, I'm really, really extremely proud of him. And I'm like, good job, son. Now you have no excuse. Like you going to college because you ain't even gotta go. You can do this.
Right. That's right.
So it's like now, he showed his potential. And, it's awesome. So
well, it's funny because I remember when University of Phoenix and all the online, everybody's like, what is this trash? Yeah, that's what this is now, though, right? That Harvard is, you might not step foot on campus. Crazy. Carson, what about for you?
Well, first and foremost, I commend Devin as well as your son because I am that learner that I cannot. He got the text, the mom text.
I already got boom.
Mom,
she just hit us with an emoji. She didn't even say anything.
Sorry, Mom.
The face palm emoji. She's like,
I love you.
I thought he was gonna say he was making breakfast or something.
That's funny, right? He said he was
cooking.
At least I was outside. I got up and got movement. I wasn't sitting in my bed all day.
Yeah, that's good. But no, I commend you guys, and I commend you and I commend your son because I'm that learner that needs to be in a classroom. I have never in classes. I don't feel that it's personal. I like to be right there, engaged. I need that. And then again, to your point earlier, Devin, that college is an experience, right? It's a whole experience. And so to have these seniors graduating and these students going off to school and then kind of be stripped away from them because they have to go into their freshman year online at home, like that's a big bummer. So I'm happy that, schools are getting back into the swing of things. But to your point, Brian, here in Charlotte, my previous position, I worked with schools. And so we had about 75% of students missing the whole semester. They were not logging in. They were not getting online. A lot of that, we didn't take end of year testing, and we literally just passed these students on just because, right? Like,
it's just not Chicago, y'all.
This is not Chicago. This is not Chicago. This is CMS, Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools. And so it was scary. I was like, I have parents in this generation right now who are dealing with this. I would be scared to be a parent right now because some kids weren't getting up and being in 8th grade, getting up on their own, doing their work, and then a lot of these, parents, they might be single parent homes and, they can't really watch the kid and see and hopefully hope the kid is getting online. They're at work because they're an essential worker and they got to pay the bills. So definitely a struggle. So I commend you guys for doing that. And hopefully the rest of your college years will be filled of fun and basketball without listening to class. As far as work goes for me, like I said, I started off in IT. I was working remote then. That was my time while I was in Chicago. And I loved it because Chicago is cold. And so I liked not having to leave my house. And then, when I moved to Charlotte, I got into the nonprofit sector and I had to go into an office. But again, COVID really let me know and reminded me how much the comfort of working from my own home and my own office. The part of being creative, right? There's a lot of things that I was putting on hold, creatively wise, putting on hold. I'll get to it. But COVID really forced me to sit down and map out these ideas and really put money into certain ideas and really invest in myself. And so, because I had nothing else to do, I had nowhere to go. So I really had no excuse. To your point, health wise, I really looked at the job that I was working and is this good for my mental health? One of those things where if I'm working from home and I dread getting up in the morning to even get online, that's a problem. Right? I don't even have to interact with these people face to face and I'm still dread. I dread getting onto this Zoom call every morning. And that's a problem.
Every time the team messenger ding, this
right. Right. What the fuck you want? It was just horrible. It was horrible. And so it was you know what, I gotta get out of here. So again, taking mental health into consideration, and it might be the millennial in me, but I'm a firm believer that I will quit, right? I'll give you the 2-week notice. I'll be tactful, but I will leave. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm on paper, I'm a single woman. It's just me and my dog. I don't have any major responsibilities. I will quit. And so, I think that was something that COVID taught me, is that you don't have to be tied down. There are people out here in jobs and opportunities that will value you and the work that you do, and to be creative in the work that you do. I don't think that'll change. If anything, I think a lot of jobs will transition. What I've noticed in the interview process prior to getting this new position is that a lot of people are like, hey, we're doing a hybrid model. You can come in if you want to. You don't have to, or we're going to do, 2 days out of the week where you come in. And I mean, think about it. Overall, it makes more sense. A lot of people are more productive at home. You have less overhead. I don't have to pay for the air and the lights and the paper and the fax machine and all that extra. I don't have to do all that. Right. So it makes a lot more sense. But again, it depends on what you're doing. If you're working with students, how I was, eventually you're going to have to interact with those students. Again, if and when, the schools are ready to let you come back in. But so I just think things are going to change a lot. I think a lot of people are going to realize that they enjoy that remote work. They're going to ask for more flexibility in their work, and they're going to be more demanding in the things that they want to see in their careers.
Yeah, I think that's 100% right. And then we're going to shift to something you said in a second, but I want to touch on this. I think the largest shift that happened during this, and from a work perspective, is that your managing bosses realize, work actually does get done when I'm not standing over your shoulder and making sure it's getting done. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, to be frank, it's probably better, right? Yeah. Because now I don't have this commute that drains me to get there in the morning. I don't have this commute I got to think about. Oh, I got to get out of here so I can catch this train before I beat traffic or whatever. So
meeting you got to go to that's gonna keep you in traffic.
it's gonna keep you right. So now it's like, at 8:00 when the kids are at school, I'm logged in. I'm on. I'm working. Whereas before it would have took, I got to catch the train downtown or whatever the case may be. And then I find myself at like 7 saying, close the damn computer, because you don't have that natural break when it's time to go to the crib, or when you got to take that commute, or when you got to hop on that train or that bus, or somebody's coming to pick you up, or whatever the case may be. So you're probably getting more work out of us.
Yeah.
And as Carson said, the overhead is lower. I think a lot of downtowns are gonna, Chicago being one of them, is gonna suffer from a real estate perspective.
Yes.
Yep.
Folks are gonna shut these offices down and move to smaller spaces and start doing WeWork, because it just doesn't make sense to pay that rent.
Yeah.
I think it's forced society to move in a direction we should have moved a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Because even in restaurants, when I first started going back to restaurants, they was like, oh, you just use the QR code to book your menu.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
QR code's been out for like 10 years. Why we
Right.
why we never,
Maybe longer.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, why haven't we done this? I've seen companies and corporations start moving with doing things that they've always could have done, just never did because of whatever reason. Maybe they're, one back scratches the other business, But yeah, I'm with you. I think that downtown, I think that real estate will suffer a bit. They'll bounce back, but it's going to be definitely a shift, because you don't need these people in these offices like this. They've proven that they can produce and be productive without being someone over the shoulder. And those micromanagers need to watch out too, because
they might find themselves out of a gig.
that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be more efficient. We're going to be more efficient in the way we do
We are.
things.
Yeah,
We are,
for sure.
We are, and I think it's also interesting because, so I'm old in a certain regard. I'm old school in a certain way, and there's something to building that camaraderie and teamwork in person that you can't do virtually, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm still all about those water cooler conversations. I'm just gonna stroll over to y'all and be like, hey, I was thinking, instead of scheduling a Zoom meeting or whatever, or seeing if But I don't think that has to happen every day.
Right.
So there's some value to coming in a couple of days a week, and I think there's some value in not, and coming home. So so if I want to sit down at lunch and take a quick nap and power nap and then power back up, do a load of laundry. It's just a better.
Other countries do it.
Yeah, all the time. Been doing it.
Been doing it.
They work Monday through Thursday. That's what we need to adopt.
Girl, don't start with me.
We'll have a whole new show going.
Look, I remember I went to Barcelona, and so it took us like a couple of days to get used to the time change, and then we would party so late. We would wake up, and by the time we would wake up, they were going on siesta. So we couldn't find shit to eat because everybody was closed for those 2-3 hours. And then they went right back to work until like 7, like it wasn't. I was like, there's different models to this, people, and I think America's going to start embracing that.
I like it.
Speaking of that, downshifting a little bit, Carson mentioned this, and I want to talk to everybody about this for mental health. I think the pandemic definitely woke people up to taking care of themselves, if not physically, mentally. Embracing that mental health aspect of it, taking time for self. Whether, is that meditation? Is that going for a run, a walk? Is that whatever it is, that nap you need, whatever the case may be, I think people have reinvested in themselves from a mental health perspective. So I'm curious how you guys have shifted as we're coming out of this, and what habits will you carry forward that you picked up while we were stuck in the crib? Dev?
For me, my getaway is music. I don't know if you ever pay attention, but I often am in my space, and usually I have headphones in. I'm usually just listening to music, it gets me in a vibe, especially if I feel, if I'm feeling sad or whatever, just like not in the mood to talk. Usually music will help me get out of that. Also video games, but I'm kind of done with those more or less. I can't sit and play video games all day, every day. But a new thing that I've learned, and I kind of mentioned it earlier in the show, is actually going outside. Getting myself into different things so I can take my mind off certain stuff. So I'm not always in my head, but I can, go out with friends and then I'm distracted. So, giving myself different distractions and, listening to music just helps me, appreciate myself and, the life that I'm living and what I want to get out of it.
Did you find while we were in COVID and you had to, and we were more with ourselves than possibly ever before, did you take some self-evaluation and say, this is maybe why I was where I was in a certain regard from a mental health standpoint, or is this something it just evolved naturally because you found different outlets and there's only so many video games you can play when you're in the house, so whatever.
No, it evolved naturally. I probably didn't notice it as much before COVID because I was always outside, especially being on campus. It was real easy to just, hey, friend, what you doing? Let's just go hang out and do something. Let's go hoop. Whereas once COVID hit, it's like, oh, wow, okay, this is the most time I've ever had with myself, by myself. And then you get to overthinking stuff. And, the younger generation really deals with that problem, probably more than most. And we're the most open about it. So, just over time, finding things that, help comfort me, like I said, music and video games. And, now going outside, hanging out with friends. That's just, it all came naturally. It wasn't something that, existed before.
So from I just want to dive into this a little bit deeper. So from a social media perspective, I know you said we mentioned earlier that your generation in particular, and I'm a social, it's me too. So it's a lot of us too. But in particular, you grew up with it. You don't know any life outside of it. Like you can't remember not having social media. Mm-hmm. Do you find that to be, and do you think your generation finds it to be more helpful or harmful when it comes to your mental health?
Depends upon how you use it. So if you use it the correct way, it'll help. Because like for me, for example, I use it as, I use it for comedic purposes. I think that a lot of the stuff that I found in there is funny. Like if I don't find it funny or if it's something that's too mentally draining, I'm just not going to look at it. I'm going to go find something that I find funny and, is a good, maybe not a good use of my time, but a use of my time that I enjoy. And there are some people in the world who take to social media and instead of, going on there to have a good time and to enjoy other people, they go on there to attack people and, make them feel less of themselves. And that's where if you get caught up in that tornado, then it gets to be a bad thing and then you need to take a step back. And then, when you're on something for so long, eventually you get drained and you need a break. Oftentimes you'll find younger people talking about, okay, I'm taking like a week off because I've been on this all day, every day. And, I need to process things so I can, have my own thoughts before I dive back into the virtual world and see what other people are talking about. So, it's really 50-50. But, if you're mature about it, it should be a good thing for people to use.
Zuckerberg has got me on a non-self-imposed break. Fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg. Brooke, what about you?
Well, I mean, you know this. I'm a pretty introverted person in general, so I've always been very conscious of mental health just because being in the military and seeing so many of my friends go through the things that they go through because of the nature of their job is taught me to always, take care of yourself. A lot of people call it selfish. I just, it's taking care of yourself. But I think that over the pandemic, I found myself naturally investing my time into things that I can do for a lifetime. It kickstarted me to do the things that I've been talking about doing, halfway was doing, really was procrastinating, making excuses about not actually getting into. I had no excuse. So I found myself really diving into, getting back into like my photography, getting back into healthy breathing, getting back to, my physical fitness. All of the things I always touched on, but I never really jumped into, really committed to. Now it's second nature. It's what I wanted to become. So I think that it really helped because you had no excuse. Everybody always talked about before this pandemic, if I had the time to do this, I would do this. We got it. Then not the way we want it, but we got it. And I think that for me, it just got me a little bit more centered. I'm more introverted too. I don't, I come out, but not as much. But I find the happiness in just taking care of myself. And I think more now than ever, I vocalize that to people. A lot of people didn't know that, but now I'm very okay with telling people I need a break. Like, you probably won't see me because why? Because I'm going to be doing my own thing. What's that? None of your business. I'm just going to be gone. Just don't worry about it. So I think that it's caused me to be more a little bit vocal about how I really am naturally.
Yeah, that's what's up. Carson?
Yeah, I echo Brooke, because for me, I am an introverted extrovert, right? So I'm very much an extrovert. I'm very much a people person. I don't meet a stranger, right? Like, I could talk to a brick wall, sell fit water to a fish, right? Like that's my thing. However, I need that alone time to really recharge and to become centered again. And so because I feel like I can't pour if my cup is empty. So with that said, I just really took time over the pandemic. Like I said, it's just me and my dog, right? It's just us. So I didn't have a lot of. I've never been one to really be outside. People are like, "Oh, we outside." I've never been one to be outside. That's not my thing. I don't really do a lot of clubs. I don't really do a lot of stuff like that. That's just never been my thing. I think I got all of that out my freshman year of college, and I was good. And so I really just took the time to meditate more. Over the pandemic, I lost like 30 pounds. Oh, looking good out here in these streets. So, like
I see the videos. I see what you're doing out there.
you see me? I got a little 4-pack now. I got a 4-pack.
That pandemic.
So, and just really taking time to eat clean and to work out, to do my yoga, to meditate, to really pray and just take time to get back to me and again be creative in the way I do things and all these ideas that to his point oh I wish I had more time, I wish I had more time. Like, no, this is not how we necessarily wanted it, but everything happens for a reason. And so maybe this is a time to start that business, to invest in yourself and to get healthy. And and just solitude is so important, and I don't think people take it as serious as they need to. I think it's important to be alone and be comfortable being alone, and it's going to be uncomfortable for a little bit, but to kind of fight through that, because if you're not happy by yourself, if you can't bring yourself peace and have fun and just love on you, then how are you going to have that in other relationships, platonic or romantic? And so I just really took the time to focus on me throughout the pandemic. There was a point in time where like my whole family had COVID. My mom, my dad, my brother, his girlfriend, their child, like everybody had COVID. And so, except for me. And so I was like, okay, now I really can't even hang out with my family. Like the people I share germs with, I can't even see them. So it was like almost, my dad, like he had it a little bit longer than everybody else. So almost about 3 weeks to a month where I like couldn't even see my family, because at first I was like, okay, well, I can't do anything else. At least I can hang out with my family.
Right.
We would see each other a lot. And then we had to stop doing that for about a month. So I really was like, okay, like I'm by myself. I can't do anything. And it almost will drive you crazy. Like, it's almost like, okay, like, what can I do? Like, there's nothing to do. But instead of having that mindset, I really had to shift and say, okay, instead of like twiddling my thumbs, watching TV all day, or being on the internet, no shade, like, but being on like social media and different things like that, like, let me read a book. Like, I have literally had a bookshelf of books that I bought and had never read, or like started a chapter and like put it away. So I read a ton of books. Then now it's like, okay, now I can actually go buy more books because I've read the ones that are on my bookshelf, and started writing poetry and like just all kind of like getting back to things that I used to do when I was younger that I had stepped away from for so long. And so that's kind of how I took care of my mental health. And then again, like I said, when I started realizing certain triggers, right? Like not wanting to get up in the morning to even open my computer. Okay, now that you realize it's a trigger and that this job is not for you, we need to make a change, right? And now we need to start the steps to make that change. And also I echo the fact that I'm definitely more vocal about that. Like, hey, Carson, what you doing? Let's go out. I'm good. What are you gonna be doing? Nothing. I'm here. I'm good. I'm like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm busy. And if my busy means sitting on my couch drinking a glass of wine, that's my busy. And I need you to respect that. Right. And so definitely more vocal about that as well. And then also just kind of taking a moment to realize what I want out of friendships and relationships. And implementing that, right? And really now that we're kind of opening back up, and obviously you're well aware of the relationship that I'm currently in, being very vocal in what I need and what I want and my expectations, because I took the time to figure those things out, because I was by myself and I was able to really realize, like, the things that I need and I don't need, and that I desire and I don't desire, my negotiables, my non-negotiables, right? And really taking time to do that. And so now when I enter in friendships or a romantic relationship, I can be vocal and stand on that and not waver from those things.
Girl, you did some COVID self-assessments. I like it. I like it. Let me add, hold on, a quick lightning round on some things because we're about to hit time in a little bit. Do you like people less or more now, Brooke?
Oh, I've never liked them.
Less. I can tell you straight up, less.
Less? Carson said I ain't never liked him in the first place, so it wasn't much further to fall. Devin?
Yeah, I'm not a people person. And that didn't change due to COVID. So I like myself and the few friends I do have.
Well, okay, hold on now. During COVID, you did join the fraternity.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't because I liked people. It was,
Oh, and I was Miss Black and Gold, so.
You talking to 3 alphas in the room. Hold on now, girl. I knew I loved you for a reason. All right. What are you most looking forward to re-engaging that you missed during the pandemic, Dev?
Travel.
Oh, wait, what'd you say? Travel.
yeah, I was about to. I mean, I'm of age now where I can go travel with my friends, so I'd like to go do that.
But you weren't really doing that before. What
No,
do
I
you,
wasn't,
What do you
but like-
What are you looking forward to returning to that you missed out on because of?
This is gonna sound real childish, but going back to the gym and playing basketball,
I knew that.
That
Yeah,
got snatched from me,
Ain't nothing
so
wrong with
I
that.
need that to come back in my life.
Nah, that's what's up. Brooke, I already know yours.
Yeah. Got to get some more stamps on the pass. Well, it's because I didn't care about the one trip that I had got canceled, but my Switzerland trip, I was really looking forward to that. I didn't go. And that's definitely happening. It's going to happen. So
That's funny. I was running to one of my guys Monday who just got back from Switzerland.
Man.
Was there for 2 weeks.
it's got to happen.
Raved about it. So yeah,
Do they reschedule you? Do they reschedule you at least? Like,
No,
Like, how does-
well, you know what they asked me, but because I had the tickets so early, I didn't know how COVID was going to be, so I just used that for some other trips that I've already taken. But I'm definitely going. That's going to happen. It's not going to happen this year. It's going to probably happen the winter time of next year, probably like February or March or something.
good stuff.
that's what's up. What did you find during COVID that you thought was important that you now realize wasn't during that pandemic? Carson?
Probably like clothes and shopping. Like, I would just
Forget you. I missed that shit.
No, I mean, I miss it. Don't get me wrong, but like, I would just buy, like, I had clothes with tags on it. Like,
Facts.
I like just stupid spending. Like really stupid shit. And it's like, why am I spending all this money on clothes? So I mean, granted, obviously you want to look good, you want to look nice, but I think what I realized is like not as important is like things that materialistic things, right? Spending money on clothes and shoes and things like that, when it's like, to your point earlier, right? Like, you want to, family's important. Like, people were dying from this global pandemic. And instead of like me taking money and saying like, oh, okay, let me like vacation, not that I did this, but just speaking in general, like, let me spend time with my family, or let me, instead of driving to go shopping with one weekend with my friends, let me go hang out for my parents' anniversary, whatever, right? Like,
Right.
just really, really kind of thinking like, taking away like all the materialistic bullshit, clothes, shoes, all that extra shit that really nobody cares about. And just taking that energy and that time and focusing it on family and people and things that truly, truly matter. So,
Yeah, I hear you. This was a few years ago. This was way before COVID. But I was cleaning out the trunk of my car one day, and I found a bag full of clothes that I had forgotten I'd even bought. They'd probably been in there a year. And I was like, all right, I got a problem. Let me. I gotta address this. That's not cool.
This is not good.
Yeah, that's not good. Dev, what do you think?
I'm gonna say video games, and maybe that's due to age, but I don't think it is. I think because I played them so much in the beginning, I got tired of them. It was like, okay, there are so many other things I could be doing with my time that I don't feel the need to sit in front of a video game playing Madden all day and night, and then the next day. Like, there are so many more things that you can do that are more productive with your time, that I feel like sitting on a video game from 5 p.m. to 6 in the morning is just something that, you don't need to do anymore, especially at my age where there are just so many things that I need to prepare for trying to get, where I want to be in life.
That's what's up, Brooke? I saw you was like, ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good. I'm still thinking over here because it's like I sold a bunch of watches, but then I bought more. So I'm trying to think like, what did I get rid of? I can't think of it, man. I'm being honest. I just can't think of that because I because of how I live, I always condense. I always sell. I donate every year. That stuff is, I do that all the time. Because I have too much stuff. So I got rules like. If I bought a pair of shoes, I'm getting rid of one. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't know. I can't think. I ain't got nothing. I ain't gonna lie to you.
That's all right.
One day I'll adapt that thinking to buy new shoes and get rid of another.
Yeah,
pair.
me too. I'm not throwing away new shoes just because I got shoes because I got to do it. I can't do that.
That's right. This just adds on. I do have the rule though. If I have it, and I'm not even good at applying this, but if I haven't worn it in a year, I should get rid of it. And I'm not.
Or just give it to me.
Yeah, fair. All right, guys, we are at 8:10. We technically are done at 8:20, so I'm gonna give everybody a couple of minutes. Your last thoughts, your last words. Pandemic, you survived it. First of all, congratulations.
So clap.
We all. A lot of people didn't, so I don't want to take that for granted. But B, I'm gonna put it to you. Final thoughts. The biggest takeaways you gained from this experience that we all just went through together.
Yeah, I think it's important to cherish your time with the important people that you care about, whether that's family, friends, whatever it is. I think it's important to let people know how you feel, in the moment. Like, don't wait. Me and you just got to talk. We lost a lot of, brothers, for multiple reasons over the past year, whether COVID related or not COVID related. And I think that's one thing that I always regret, just not reaching out, not shooting them a message, shooting them a line, driving the distance to just go hang with them and just say what's up. I think cherishing just relationships in general, because you just never know. You never know when things can be turned around. And we didn't see this thing coming. We didn't see it coming, and we never will probably. And I think that, we just got to cherish those relationships that we have with the important people in our lives.
Yeah, that's a word. Carson?
Yeah. So again, echoing, love on the people that love you. Take care of the people that take care of you while you have the opportunity to do so. Love on yourself, right? Take care of self. Understand that it's okay to live like you can be a minimalist, right? Like that's okay. That's okay. I think it's people take things for granted. There are a lot of people who don't have the luxuries we have. And I think COVID really showed us that. And so don't take anything for granted. A lot of people did not keep a roof over their head during COVID. They did not keep their jobs or keep food in their mouth, shoes on their feet, clothes on their back. They had it a lot rougher and tougher than not being able to go outside to the nearest club or out to eat to dinner and scan a QR code, right? So just being thankful and grateful, thanking your higher power, whomever that might be, and just really loving again on your people and loving on yourself, and always keep in check and keep at the forefront of your mind your mental health. And what keeps you happy, what keeps you centered and at peace. Just because a lot of people found that within COVID, but I just pray people don't let that slide, right? Like don't let go of that aspect of what COVID has brought. If the job is not fulfilling, if the relationship is not fulfilling, if the house you live in ain't what you need to, ain't what it need to be, whatever, like make the appropriate changes, start taking those steps to make time for yourself and to live the life you want to live, because life is short. It is very short. If COVID has taught us anything, it has taught us that. So, yeah, those are probably my final thoughts and my takeaways from COVID. And I'm thankful I made it.
Love it. Dev?
A lot of great things that were said, but the biggest thing I'm gonna echo is that time is short. When COVID started, I was a freshman in college, and now I'm already a junior. Like, time flies. You don't have as much time as you think you might have when you first start something. So really appreciating the time that you're given and making the most use out of it, while also, just, appreciating what's been given to you, and, making sure that you thank those who have given those opportunities for you, led you down the path that you're walking. That's probably the biggest thing for me. But it also, another thing that I would, speak on is, for each individual that did make it through COVID, just, realize just how powerful you are. Because like it was said in the past, not everybody made it out, but, if you're still here today, you had, the mental fortitude to actually stick it out, to see it through. And, we're all here today trying to be better and live our lives to the fullest. So I have to congratulate each and every person who's here today.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy, and we're not, and we'll reiterate this, we're not out of it. It's not done yet. It's, we're still living it, but it looks like, bluer skies on the horizon, so that's fantastic. But yeah, it was an insane year and a half. Who saw that coming? I'm with you, Carson. When this first started, I remember, so the day before everything kind of got shut down, I had like this pre-COVID party at the house. Like the day they said everybody work from home, me and a couple of fellas and some folks came over the house, and we were like, we just had CNN on. And, we had our computers open and we were pretending to work, but we were mostly just chopping it up, drinking beer, blah, blah. We were like, man, this is wild. Folks are seriously overreacting about this. Like in 2-3 weeks, this will be done, but I'm going to take these days at home from working, whatever. And then here we are. So, to do this 180 from something I didn't consider serious to where we are today really just made me realize, and then just the trials and tribulations that hit me as soon as it really hit. Not that I didn't know this, but it always reinforces the fact that the people in my life are my rocks. Of course, the people closest to me, my wife, my kids, my mom, my cousins, all that, but my extended circle as well, my frat, my friends, they really held it together.
Your co-hosts.
Yeah, my hold on, can't forget you, Carson. And then that circle extended, right? Because now I've got people I really consider friends and family that because of the podcast and because of the Blackboard, the TV show, and all of that. So if I ever had, what I do realize is that what I love about myself in a certain regard is that I am pretty open. I love people. I let folks in or whatever until you've proven that you should not be in. But I realize that served me far better than it hasn't served me. And I learned to appreciate that a little bit more during this time, because all of you all were my rocks during this. And we were each other's rocks. But y'all were my rocks during this. And having this forum to have these conversations was really cathartic, continues to be. It's my form of self-therapy. I also realized that, and I didn't realize this, it's just reestablished. I love myself. I'm a great person. but no, for real, that at the end of the day, people are what's important, and in particular the people that are important to you and you're important to them. That's maybe the most important part. It don't make sense for you to be carrying somebody that's not willing to carry you back. So I'm just glad we made it through. A lot of lessons learned. It's great to see that everybody, on this panel at least, took this time to find some passions and carve out time to do some things they always wanted to do. I want you guys to continue to carry that forward. Don't let this go now that the world is opening up and everybody's getting back out, and lose focus on those things. And I don't think you will. So I appreciate everybody's open and honestness today. Another episode of the End Zone podcast is in the books. We'll be back here next Wednesday, 7:00 on the What's in It for the Black People Network. We're supposed to be doing, now you all know I love my movies, and I didn't answer this question earlier, what I miss the most, and I'm glad to be going back to. I've been to the movies twice in like the past 2 weeks. Like, I love going to the movies. I'm happy to be back. I probably won't go nearly as much as I used to, but I'm still happy that we can do that again. So Fast and the Furious 9 just came out. Jesus, it was awful. But I am a huge fan of the franchise. So me and the crew are supposed to come in here next week and break the whole franchise down because I haven't done a movie.
You gotta stop making movies. Like, just stop. Just stop.
And they got 2 more coming.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
they gonna
gosh.
say they ain't gonna
Not including the Hobbs and Shaw franchise. So me and the crew go come in. We haven't done a movie review in a while, so we're gonna do the Fast and the Furious franchise breakdown. Not just 9, but all 9 movies. Rank them, rate them, break them down, tear them apart.
Spoiler alert, 9 was the worst.
Got
Oh,
a
my.
lot of movie watching the next week to do.
Yeah, man. Well, I've seen all of them like 20 times, so I don't really need to rewatch them. But if you all want to catch up, go ahead and rewatch them. And if you've never seen a Fast and the Furious movie, I know a lot of people refuse to do it. Watch number 5.
Got to.
That's the best one.
If number 5 doesn't hook you, just don't bother anymore. Done and
Hold
done.
on, you said 5, right?
Number 5, the one with where The Rock is introduced into the franchise.
Okay, I'll watch that
That's when it
one.
took off.
Watch 5. If
Stop
that doesn't
watching
get you
3 or
connected,
4.
then just skip the first 4.
Okay.
Go to 5. If that doesn't get you in, cut the shit off. All right, y'all. Have a good week. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye, guys.
WII.